First, I wrapped the foam around my head so it wasn't too tight or too loose, and I marked where I needed to cut. Because the foam is 24 inches in height, I drew a line at the 12-inch mark. That way we can cut half the foam off and use the other ones for another project. I drew another line 3.5 inches down. That's where the bottom of the triangles will be to make the dome shape. The length of the foam sheet I cut came out to be exactly 26.25 inches. I then divide that number by a high number, usually from 7 to 10. That will get me the number of triangles I need. I chose 7 because it came out to exactly 3.75 inches for the bottom of each triangle. Cut at the 12-inch mark, and then start cutting in between each triangle. You now want to hot glue the two ends together to make it into the cylindrical shape. Now hot glue all the triangles together and use pins to hold them in place. Use the extra foam to wrap the foam base in. Now cut the extra foam off. Use the cylinder to trace out a circle, and then cut it out. Now stuff the layer on top and shape it to a dome. Don't forget to hot glue it on. Take some scissors and trim it up. Use the extra foam to make the 2 bumps on his head. Hot glue them into place and trim them to make them smoother. Use a marker to draw on his facial features. Cut out the eye holes and make the head shorter if needed. Hot glue 2 foam sheets together and make a stencil for the whiskers, and you want to make 2 of them. You should end up getting something like this, and now you want to cut them out. After sculpting the whiskers to make them smoother, you want to hot glue them on. Make the stencils for the top part of the jaw. Hot glue 3 layers of foam. Now trace the top side of the jaw and cut it out. Now trace on the sides. Now trim to shape it. Place the top part of the head onto a foam sheet and trace around the jaw. Make the jaw 1/4 inch bigger. Now cut it out. Hot glue it onto another foam sheet and cut around it. Now trim it to make a smooth shape. Now twist up some wires and put them into the jaw to make the bend shape. Make a paper stencil for the ears. Trace it twice onto a foam sheet. Now cut them out. Now trim them to make a smoother shape. Now twist up some wire. Make a slit on the back of each ear. Now hot glue a wire into each ear. This is what it looks like so far. Start by saran wrapping half of the head. Now cover the saran wrap with duct tape. Trim the edge to make it straight. Now cut slits on the template to make it flat. Trace around the stencil onto the fabric. Now cut it out. I used a handheld sewing machine, but you can also use hot glue to join the fabric together. Do the same process again, but flip the stencil over. Now cut it out. Sew or hot glue the ends together. Place the two together so the outsides are facing each other. Now sew the ends together. Flip it inside out so the stitches don't show. Now stuff it onto the foam base and pin where it's needed. Hot glue the fabric on, and now you want to cut the eye holes. Pull the flaps over and hot glue. I don't know what this is, but I found it at Value Village and it was the right shape, so I decided to use it. Now I'm hot gluing it onto his muzzle. Trim the extra material off. Now I'm hot gluing some red fabric onto the whiskers. The video got corrupted, but you want to hot glue fabric onto the jaw, as well as onto the ears, and make a stencil for the inner part of the ears. Trace them onto the fabric. Make sure they are all lined up and hot glue them on. Use some leftover sponge to dab on some black paint. This is what the jaw looks like. And here are the ears. And finally the head. This is what it looks like all together. Cut 4 rectangles of plastic mesh. Hot glue them long ways up. Do it for both sides. Now hot glue the other ones inside the head. Use brad pins to join the hinges. Cut 2 popsicle sticks in half. Hot glue the halves together and wrap duct tape around them. Cut slits on the bottom of both ears. And hot glue the popsicle sticks inside. Use an X-Acto knife to make slits on the head for where the ears will go inside. Now hot glue the ears into the head. This is what the jaw movement looks like. Paint the inside of clear ornaments white. And print out a picture of his pupils and irises. Cut out the size that fits best. Dip a Q-tip in acetone or nail polish to remove the paint from the inside of the eye, where the pupil will go. Hot glue them on the inside of the eyes. Fold over and hot glue some fabric. Add some black paint to make it look darker. Hot glue it to the eye and trim the extra fabric off. Set the eyes inside the head. Make a stencil for the eyebrows. Trace and cut 2 of them and hot glue it onto the head. Cut and trim some foam into the nose shape and hot glue black felt or leather if you have it onto the foam. Trim the extra off. Hot glue it onto the muzzle. Cut this shape on leather or felt for the eye patch. Cut the extra material for the straps. And hot glue them on. Hot glue only the top part of the eye patch. Hot glue the longer strap on. Only hot gluing the top allows it to flip up. Roll some oven baked clay into teeth. Bake for 275 degrees for 15 minutes. Paint them white and gold and glue them on.